Welcome back to day 13 of our 30-day accelerator. Now, today, guys, we are diving into starting your sales page. And the sales page is going to take us a couple of days, but it's a really key part that is going to pull together a lot of what we've been working on so far. Right? You've built out your product, you've created an offer that's going to sell your product, but now you don't just send somebody to the checkout, you need to connect that offer to a page. So what we're going to be doing today is looking at the structure, the copy, the elements that make up a great sales page, and then it's over to you to work on the customization. All right, let's dive in. All right, so here we are back inside of my demo account, and we're over here under the website area in pages, okay, on the landing tab. Now you can see here that we already had 3 pages in this account. We had that first page we created right at the beginning, like a coming soon page for your website, could also be a freebie. The confirmation page that goes with it. Then later we created a welcome page that we want people to see after they buy our product, okay, the course, the membership, whatever offer it is that you are working on. And now what I want to do is add a 4th page, which is the sales page that they would see before they buy that course, that membership, that offer. Now, you guys know by now how to import a page if you are working with one of my templates. So you would just come up here to upload template. Alternatively, Kajabi does have a number of sales page templates, native to Kajabi that you could pick from. So you could just go up here to new landing page, and it's going to bring you through to Kajabi's template library. Now, there is a category here for sales page templates. You can always preview the pages. So I quite like this tailor page. Okay, you can have a look and see whether or not that one might be the right fit. And if it is, hit get started. Now for me, I'm just going to work with the Softly Does It template because I've worked with that for the rest of the pages that we've been working on. So I've already imported that template page here, and I've now got 4 pages there inside of my account. Okay, so if you're going to be working with a template, you'll need to import it. I then changed the name on it. I don't usually include the word sales page in the page name, okay, because I don't want that popping up in the tab when somebody is actually on the page. I find it a little bit off-putting. So I've just given it the page, I've given the page the name of the program. So just the Sassy Bucks program. And I've created a URL that goes with it that's similar, just /Sassy Bucks is what I went for. So once you've got your page in there, or you've picked one of your Kajabi templates, then you would head on over here, the little paint palette, or you can click into it and that's going to open it up in customize mode like this. Okay, so when we open the page up, just before you go and dive into changing out the copy and swapping in your images and all the fun stuff, I would encourage you to firstly go over into the settings tab and into the style guide area and go through and apply your own branding. Okay, swap out the primary color. The primary color is going to be used for accents, things like the play button on a sales video or the bullet points in a pricing card. Okay, what color would you like that accent color to be? I am going to go with this like greeny color of mine. Then the buttons on the page that you're working on, what color do you want the background of the button to be? If you're going to go for solid colors or even outline like this, like what color should that main button color be? And then if it is going to be a solid button, what color should the font be on top of the button? Okay, so I'm going to go with like a red, and I'll stick with white font on top. And then the button width, do you want the button to be like full size across the block, or do you want it to just be like as long as it needs to be to fit the text? I usually go with auto, but then there might be some specific blocks where I change it to full. The button style, do you want it to be outlined like this, or do you want it to be a solid button? So I'll swap it to solid. Then the button size, do you want the buttons to be, pretty small, kind of medium, or large? Now I'm going to go with medium, but you can go into each block and make particular or specific buttons bigger if you want to. Okay, so you can override it inside of individual blocks. But just as a general rule, I'm going to go with medium for the blocks, for the button sizes on this page. Then you've got the border radius, the button border radius. Say that 10 times fast. The default is set to 4. So that is like the curvature around the corners of your button. So if you want it to be like a really sharp button, you'd need to change it down to 0. You could just do it with a slider here. Or if you want like pill-shaped buttons, you could just slide it all the way up and it's going to give you nice rounded edges. Now, what is your brand body font and your heading font? And then what color do you want your fonts to be? So we said, okay, make all the headings gold for Softly Does It, but I could go through and say, oh, let's just go with a dark green from my palette. And then you can change also your font sizes on desktop and also on mobile. So once you've done as many changes as you can, come up and hit save in the top right corner and give it a second to think about it and it will process for you. Okay, so you can see there that the heading font color has updated and the button color has updated, but it's still outline shape. So if I go back down here, you can see that inside of that style guide area in the page settings, I said, oh, I want all the buttons to be solid. Now, if inside of the block, for whatever reason, we have already set down here in the call to action, we have specified outline. If you go and change it in the page style settings, it's not going to override what's here. So there will be individual times where you'll have to come into specific blocks and just quickly swap it over. So I'm going to go with solid there, but you can see that the actual color has taken on from what I put into the style guide settings. Now, if the color hasn't updated either, what you would do is inside of the block over here, okay, inside of the call to action settings, if there was a color in there, you could just come in and click to remove the color. And once you remove the color from an individual block, it will take on the button color that you've set over inside of the style guide, over inside of here. So inside of the style guide, I said I want all my buttons to be red. Now, if inside of the block though, let me just show you what I mean. The button color had already been set in here. And I save it. Okay, so if you had gone into your settings, into the style guide under settings, and you'd said, I want all of my button colors to be pink, and then you'd hit save and you had a look at the page and you thought, oh, this one is like still something different. If you go into the specific block, into that call to action, that button, and you come down here and you remove the color that's been set inside of the block. Okay, now it's taking on the color from your style guide settings. Okay, so that's just a little troubleshooting tip for you if there's anything that doesn't update once you put your brand colors into that style guide area. So we come down here, we've got lots of green headings, which is good. We've got solid pink buttons all the way down. Okay, you can see that the bullet points inside of the pricing card have updated that to that primary color that I set, that green. And then come down here, also these ones. The colors inside of the countdown clock have updated to the dark green, which is the color that we set for the heading color. Okay, so if quite a few things on the page will update once you update that style guide area. So do that first, okay, is my tip for you before you start going through this page and updating other things. All right, so let's go back up to the top of the page and I'm just going to point out a couple of things before I let you go to have some fun with the customization of this sales page. Now you'll notice up here, first thing that you're going to notice on this page is that in the sections, the header section is not visible. Now we wouldn't usually have a header with menu items and, you know, like a login button and all those things. We wouldn't usually have those things on a sales page because they just serve as a distraction. You know, people can see that there's a link to your about page or your services, and then they click away and they go off down a rabbit hole and they never come back to your sales page. So with most of our sales page templates, or all, I would like to say, inside of the header section, and we've got some elements here, but they're not showing up. And the reason is because inside of the header, we've gone into desktop layout and we've checked this little box to hide the header on desktop and also on mobile. Okay, make sure if you're going to hide it on one that you do hide it on the other. Okay, otherwise it won't be visible on desktop, but people viewing the sales page on their mobile are still going to see all your header menu items and things. Okay, so I would suggest hiding it in both places. Something else that we don't usually do on sales pages, if I scroll all the way to the bottom here, we do have the footer. But you can see that I've just hidden the social icons because I don't want people clicking off to like my Instagram or my YouTube channel. You want to do as best you can, get people to stay on the sales page until they make a decision around whether or not your program is what they are looking for. So that's a couple of things that I would hide, the header and anything that's not required inside of the footer. And we'll come back up the top here. We'll scroll down again. Okay, so this is the hero section, and all your sales pages are going to have a hero section. So what is that like first above the fold area that's going to capture people's attention when they land on your sales page? I have, put as many copy prompts as I can into my sales page templates just so that you can see like, oh, what the heck am I supposed to write in this section? With hero sections and this copy here, I would encourage you to go for clear over clever. If people can't easily read what is your program all about and is it going to help them, like is it the answer to the problem that they've got, then they're probably not going to continue on to read the rest of the page. So really try in this hero section to clearly tell them what it is that your program, is about and who it's for and what they're going to learn by the end of it. Now, if they were to click this Join Us button, you could take people straight to the checkout, especially if you've only got one offer. Like if it's a pay in full $397, then you could have that button go straight to the checkout. And this button is useful for people who have possibly been on your sales page before. A lot of people will visit your sales page more than one time before they are ready to buy. So for those people who are returners to the sales page, having a button to buy in the hero section is great because then they don't have to, go all the way back down your sales page again to the pricing area. They can just click the button, go over to the checkout and buy. Right now, if, however, you've got like a payment plan and a pay in full and a level 1 and a level 2 and you don't know which one people are going to want, then I would still have a button here in the hero section, but rather than have it link off to the checkout, I would have it so that you go over here to the call to action settings. You can see here button action. What do you want to happen when somebody clicks the button? And I would have it go to a section on the page. And then I would look for my pricing section, somewhere down here, pricing. Okay, and I would have it whisk them down there to pricing. Okay, so they don't have to scroll all the way down themselves. They can click this button, they'll get moved immediately down the page to the pricing tables, and from there they can make their decision. Now, on that, okay, over here, oops, let me just jump back to these sections. You'll see that we have, as we create each section on a sales page, we give it a name that's easy to find or easy to identify. So this is the hero section. Then we've got like a little colored spacer in there. Then we've got 3 quick wins in here. Okay, so if you want to update the section names, just click the 3 little dots, and click to rename and give it a name that's going to be easily identifiable to you. Okay, because then when you are wanting to link your button to the pricing section, okay, you're going to be able to go over here to the call to action and you're easily going to be able to pick, okay, your pricing section from the list if you gave your section a clear name. So make sure as you're adding sections to your page or customizing one of our pages that you do go in and, rename it so that it's easily identifiable to you. All right, so here we've got a section that touches on pain points, okay, highlighting challenges that your audience might be faced with right now. Then we're sort of, future stating for them, like what if we could solve those problems for you? Here we're debunking a myth, something that might be keeping a person stuck, something that they believe that's simply not true. And then again, future stating, what would their life look like? How could, things be really different for them if they were to learn everything that you cover inside of your program, your system, your framework, your method, okay, and how long is that going to take? Then we get into introducing the actual program name, and on all our pages, we leave a spot for one of these device mockups. Really easy to create something like this inside of Canva, okay? And you'll find some great templates over there too. As for what you put into these images, if you've already customized your course product, then I would preview the course product and get some screenshots of it. So for example, if I was to come back over into the product that we were working on, and let's see, that's the one that we've been building during this accelerator. So if I was to just go to the three little dots and preview it, okay, this is going to show it to me as an end user. So I could come down here and I could, maybe take a screenshot of this or a screenshot of that, or I could click into an individual lesson. We could get individual module. Let's see if I can find one that's interesting. And you could click through into one of the lessons. You could grab a screenshot of this. So if you can grab like a few interesting screenshots from the course itself, and perhaps you can get a screenshot of any workbooks or anything that you are creating to go with your course, all of those make for great little images that can be inserted into a device mockup like this, just to make the course look really interesting and to give people a good idea of what is inside of the program. Then we come down here, some outcome statements. What will people be able to do by the end of your course? What's included, and people don't really, a lot of people like to harp on about how much training is included in the program. Students don't actually want like a lot of work. So if you can highlight things like, awesome checklists and resources that are going to shortcut their time, often people find that a whole lot more valuable, templates, other like really easy to use resources. Often people will find that a lot more useful and a lot, of a lot higher perceived value than I've got like 100 videos for you to watch, because that just sounds like a lot of work. Okay, so have a think about like the cool inclusions that you're going to have in your program. Will there be any one-on-one coaching sessions? Will there be brainstorms and screen shares and audits and all that stuff would go into this section. Now we've left a section here for social proof. Have you got any testimonials that could be written? You could swap it out for video. You could have screenshots of Google reviews. Okay, anything that's going to just add credibility and make people feel confident and secure about investing their money with you. Then we've got a section here for modules. Now I just put 3 on this template, but if you wanted to add, if you wanted 6 modules, then you could click into the section over here, and we could go over here to where we've got the image, and you could just duplicate that block and then duplicate the text block underneath it, and then you'd have 4 modules to work with. Okay, so you can add in as many as needed. Then we get down to the program investment. Okay, so you're going to need as many pricing cards as you have offers. All right, so we set up one offer to go with our course the other day, and that was going to be for a pay in full option. But if you want a pay in full and also a payment plan, then you might have 2 options for your program. Okay, now with this particular template, I've got 3, but if you're only going to have 2, maybe you're going to have like 6-month payment plan of $97 and single payment, bit cheaper, $497, and you don't need this middle one, then we could just hide that like this. Okay, so now we're just left with the 2. And then I've got a section there for early bird bonuses. If people enroll by a certain date time, put that in. What bonuses will they receive? What are those bonuses valued at? Okay, you can have some images here of those additional bonuses and a countdown clock counting down to when the early bird is ending. We're going to look at the countdown clock tomorrow, by the way. So, if you're thinking, how do I make that countdown clock tick? That's what we'll come back and do tomorrow. And then, sort of a, if not now, then when, almost like your final statement here. And, just to really put them on the spot, are they prepared to do something about the problem that they are faced with? And, how will their life, business, relationships, health look a year from now if they choose not to do anything? Then I've got a second section here for more social proof. You can really never have enough. What is the process? A 3-step process to getting the results from this program. What do they do from here if they are interested in joining? An FAQ section, lots of buttons throughout the page, okay? So whenever they feel ready, they can click the button. I added a little about section from here, but I wouldn't have it link out to your about page because again, that's another distraction that's going to take them away from your sales page. You don't have to have this section at all. You could hide it or delete it if you don't want it there. Then I restate the program investment. And if you wanted to have some extra bullet points on the end talking about the early bird bonuses, absolutely. Then I've got another countdown clock to when enrollments are closing or when your early bird is ending. And I've added a money back guarantee. Now, totally optional. You don't have to have a money back guarantee, but I do like to offer one. So they're the sections that I put in. If you feel that anything needs to be reordered, you can absolutely come down, well, whichever section needs to be reordered. Let's just say you want that guarantee to sit above this countdown clock. You would just grab the little dots and take it up there. Okay, so now I've got the pricing and then I've got the guarantee and then I've got the final countdown clock rather than ending on the guarantee. If there's anything on the page that you don't think you need right now, but you might use it later, then you could come in, you could say, oh, I think this time I'm not going to do a guarantee, but next time I might. Just hide it rather than delete it, okay? And then you can always put it back for the next cohort if you change your mind. And if you want to add in any additional sections, just down here to the add section area, and you can add in whatever it is that you think this page is missing. Did I have a video on this particular one? I've forgotten now. Let me go up and have a quick look. I didn't. Okay, so one thing that, I do like to put on a sales page if you, feel up to it would be a video. So you might like to add a section, hero with video would be an easy one to add. Now, anytime you do add a section to a page, like this, okay, it's going to add that section to the bottom. Now, you can reorder blocks inside of a section, again, with that little equal sign, just like this. You can also resize things. So right now this is 6 columns wide and this is 6 columns wide, and you can only fit 12 columns in a section. Okay, so if I make this 8 columns wide, the text is going to move down, okay, underneath. Right, so you can play around with the sizing of things. You can always undo things in the top right corner if you've changed your mind. But anytime you do add a new section, it is going to put it to the bottom. So, I wouldn't have a video at the bottom because a lot of people won't make it that far. So if you're going to add in a video section, add the section, it'll drop it to the bottom here, and then grab those little equal signs and you can just move it up to wherever you think it would look good. Maybe, oops. Maybe in there, okay, and then change the coloring so that it works. So that's just a few little tips for you guys. So your action item for today is to either upload a template if you're working with one of mine or somebody else's, or pick one of the sales page templates from Kajabi's template library. Go into the settings of the page, into the style guide, and make sure your own branding is in the style guide area. And then simply have a go at coming through that sales page and putting in your own copy, okay, and your own images to talk about that course product that we have been building out over the last couple of weeks. Okay, guys, so that is everything from me today on part 1 of our sales pages. And what we're going to do tomorrow is we will come back and we'll have a look at how do we make those countdown clocks tick. And when the time runs out, either on an early bird or a sales page, how do we redirect people to a waitlist page automatically so that we are not waiting up until midnight, okay, on cart close to manually switch off the page. But I will see you back for part 2.